See, inherently, without any effort at all, inherently we are divine, we are whole, we are complete. We don't need a teaching or a teacher. This is what we are. We don't need anything. Not only do we not need a teacher or a teaching, on the level of what we truly are, we don't need food, water, shelter, affection, acknowledgement, status. On that level, the body needs those things to greater or lesser degrees, perhaps. But what we truly are doesn't need any of those things. That means no matter how much you practice, you're never going to improve what you actually are or attain what you actually have always attained. This is why practice cannot bring you to yourself. It's because you're already yourself. And some people stop there and say, therefore, no practice is needed. But this is a mistake. Practice is essential. But practice won't make you what you are. And if you're a mountain, practicing won't make you a mountain because you are a mountain. And if you are that which cannot be put into words, that resplendent divine being that you are, beyond any words, and no amount of practice will make you into that. You are that already. So why is practice so important? It's only important because we have, and this cannot be put into words exactly. I'm about to try and describe what ignorance is. Ignorance, it cannot be put into words properly. But essentially, we've forgotten what we actually are. We have forgotten what we are. We have mistaken ourselves to be something that we are not. It's a case of mistaken identity. Case of mistaken identity. So the practice is not to become something. It isn't like going to the gym where you can lift so many weights, pump iron, do all that stuff, and then you can get big muscles. It's not something you can practice and get better at. Change. If you practice more, you'll get bigger muscles or something. You'll get more powers. You'll be more enlightened. Enlightenment, total, supreme, ultimate enlightenment is just what we are naturally, effortlessly. Again, it is not like a skill or work. If the harder you work, maybe you'll have more output. It is not like that. Practice doesn't work like that. Practice is essential, but it is not like work or creating something, achieving something. The practice is just to bring you back to what you actually already are, to that which needs no practice. It's important to realize this or it can be important, because otherwise we might think, oh, here I am, I'm Tom, and I want to attain liberation, so I better practice really hard. And then one day I will be liberated. And the implication is I'm not liberated now, you know. I'm skinny, I'm weak now. And maybe with lots of practice, I'll get some big muscles or whatever it is you want to achieve. I'll become enlightened. And what we're doing there, we're mistaking ourselves for that skinny, weak thing, that body, mind. And we are not a body, and nor do we have a mind. Not really. It only appears that way because we've lost touch with what we actually are. And I'm realizing as I'm speaking today, I'm gesturing towards my chest a lot. It's a metaphorical gesturing. It's not really in the body. It's deeper than that. The body is superficial compared to the depth that I'm speaking of and speaking from. Worshipping something outside of you is only helpful as long as it opens your heart so you can go within. If you worship something outside of you and then you think that that is greater than you, then you've lost touch with yourself. The only point of worshiping something greater than you, when it comes to liberating teachings, if you're interested in liberation, is to open your heart to what you are. You are that which you are worshipping. You are that divine. You are the supreme. You are that which needs no practice. Thank you. And having a sense of this right at the beginning of our practice, not that I'm trying to become divine or become enlightened or see something or know something that I don't already see or know. Because when you find what you are, you realize I've always known this. It's a bit like when somebody says something to you and you said, oh yeah, that's right. I knew that already. You know that feeling? Have you had that? Sometimes someone can tell you something and it's new. Oh, okay, that's new. That's interesting. Other times someone can say something to you, you go, oh yes, I actually already knew that somehow. This the teaching can be a bit like this. It isn't like that, but it's a bit like that. No metaphor, no analogy, completely works. So when we are still, we are just being ourselves. We're not trying to become or discover ourselves in terms of trying to attain something. This is my suggestion. We're just being what we already know ourselves to be. Right from the beginning of the practice, there is self-knowledge. Self-knowledge means knowing yourself. It is intuitive, non-cognitive, non-intellectual, self-knowing. And herein lies the difference between this practice of self-inquiry, this practice of self-discovery, and many other practices. We're not, in this practice, we're not trying to achieve a goal by building something new or creating something new. We're just being what we have always eternally been. The other thing is, these teachings that I share only really start to make sense if you do this practice. If you're not open to the practice, you're just trying to figure it out intellectually, this teaching doesn't make sense. Or it will only make so much sense. Because we're not concerned with beliefs. Really, this is not about belief at all. We're not interested in beliefs at all. Truth requires no beliefs, no beliefs. In fact, beliefs are the problem. Our fundamental beliefs are the problem specifically. The fundamental beliefs are I'm a person. I was born at a certain time, at a certain place. I live in the world. This world is real. And these things all matter deeply. Matter. These are all beliefs. Whilst we are seeking, we don't want to abandon these beliefs completely because they are helpful to the body, mind, and the world. We want the body, mind to be able to function in the world. We want the body, mind to be kind and caring, truthful, considerate, moral, ethical, all those things. But ultimately, we have to let go of all these beliefs. You may, if you've been a spiritual seeker for some time, you may have all these spiritual beliefs. Oh, enlightenment is like this, self-realization is like that, practice is like this. No, the practice is like that. All these beliefs. When you do self-inquiry, let go of all these beliefs right at the beginning. They cloud your vision. What you are and liberation doesn't require any beliefs, any thoughts. They get in the way. So we're not interested in beliefs or ideologies. Someone who doesn't know any better, they may listen to what I'm saying here and think it's an ideology. It's no ideology. That's why the teaching changes depending who I'm speaking to or what's happening. Might change a bit here, change a bit there, because it's not ideological, it's practical. It comes from an inner knowing. It's always about coming back to yourself and not to something outside of you. Outside of you means anything you can perceive. What does outside of you mean? Anything you can perceive, anything you can feel, anything you can sense, anything you can think, anything you're conscious of. This is outside of you.